today we have a session on the body. The body, how the body is a projection from the higher self, and we're going to talk all about whatever body questions you have in the context of shaping your body. And I think the most important thing about the body is to remember that the body is not something that you have, but something that you build day by day. That's what it is. Okay, before we get into all that, I want to sort of talk about where we're at with the group. If you don't know me, my name is Monakhad. I'm teaching mindset and manifestation. Really teaching alignment with higher self and with growth and evolution. That's what I'm interested in, contribution. And I believe that from that, if you're searching for that, what's going to happen is everything will start working out in your life. But of course, it's not that simple. That's sort of the theory. And then we're building on top of that several exercises to change our mindset, to change the way we see the world, to change our interactions with others, reactions, everything. We're reinventing ourselves. This week, it's new moon. The new moon is important in my work. Why? Only as a symbol of renewal. So every new moon, we renew ourselves. We take a chance to just go over what has happened in the past month. Are we happy with our reactions? Are we happy? Where could we do better? And if you don't like where you've been in the last month, it's no problem. You can almost delete and restart, or just take from the month whatever you wanted, whatever you liked about yourself, and leave the rest behind and say, I'm taking with me this and this and this. I've done really good here. And then moving into the next month, I'm going to do much better in X and Y and Z. And so I love this new moon ritual. We have it every month now for almost 2 years with my group. This new moon is on Wednesday. And we're going to have our meditation that will be posted in the group at 10 p.m. This is a meditation you can do with eyes open or closed. Please join us. Please, if you're part of my group, you really have to be part of the new moon meditation. Even if you don't take the time every week to do the meditation, which I think are important, but do not miss the new moon meditation. We also fast the day of the new moon just to reset the body and just to sort of release that energy that we usually use for digestion and use it to project forward the new us, the new me, when you do the meditation. If you can't fast the whole day, just fast after lunch, fast for about 12 hours before bed, please fast. Is that today for fasting? No, the fasting is for new moon. I do it once a month with my group for new moon. And the new moon is this Wednesday in Eastern Standard Time in North America. It's also day 27 of my 60-day challenge. I told you guys I am starting January 1st, a new round, and I think a few people started with me. Have you guys, I just want to make sure that we're sticking to the schedule. I haven't missed anything. I actually did my entry before I came here. And I want to tell you that this time around, I have had some just incredible things, and my dreams have been very, very different than before. And I'm just curious. I'll put this message in the group. If anybody else has felt that, if you're doing the 60 days as of January 1st, have you had something just very different? I've had some news about my past that really made me feel, wow, this is cleared and I was right about this. And I was something happened to a person that I heard from the grapevine and stuff. I was like, oh my God, something that I wasn't really sure about. And I don't know, it just gave me so much clarity. I find that the deeper I go, the more everything clears from the past. Dr. Bella says me, okay, good. I want you to track these things. Track everything that happens that's out of the ordinary. Okay, and log it in the 3D response. Okay, I don't want you guys to think the 3D response sheet is for big wins. It's for, oh, I got a Porsche today. No, it's for all of these things that shape us incrementally, step by step. So I just want to make sure if you're part of my group, do the new moon meditation. Then I want to just remind you guys that every creator has scammer accounts. I don't contact anybody. So if you get a message from me, it's not from me. If you know me by this time, I never do any emails. I don't do any marketing. So if you get something from me, please don't, guys, please don't call me. I don't take calls during my life. Please treat it as scam. If you need me, you have to contact me. Okay, let's get into the body, but I want to see if there's anything so far. Okay, somebody says, I've done everything I can in the physical realm for weight loss and nothing has worked. We're going to talk about the body right now. So this live is dedicated to talking about the body, to talking about changes in the body, talk about healing, to talk about the energetic signatures, to talk about what may be holding us back. So you're on the right live if you want to talk about that today. Okay, so I want to remind everybody, I did a video and I have a playlist on diagrams for reality in my YouTube channel. So I want to remind everybody, I had a video there and I reminded my group, but I want to just draw the diagram for this live once more on the body, okay? So in order to understand the body, the energetic signature, everything that I'm describing in my content, you have to understand the body as something else. So you cannot understand the body as this fixed, organic thing that if you give it more calories, it will gain weight. If you give it less calories, it will lose weight. And it's just a static thing. With age, it should get diseased. It should stop functioning, etc. So the organic way of seeing the body has to go. It has to go from your paradigm. So check your paradigm. It's very important to see sort of how you were raised to think about the body, and sort of see, like, is this still the same way I'm thinking about the body? And if you feel like the body is just this organic thing and you're looking to write out 3 times, 6 times, 9 times, I am thin, and be thin, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no magic bullet solution, ritual, burning of candles or anything like that will shape your body the way you want it, until you, 1, understand reality differently, and 2, day to day treat your body very differently than you do now, okay? So let's say this is the physical body, and around it there's another body that's called the etheric body. This body houses our emotions, it houses our intuition, it's sort of like the energetic scaffolding around our body that keeps our body locked in this reality, but processes all the information about what is good for us. So our physical body, and then we have here our etheric body, which is sort of the boundary. So I'm gonna make the boundary a little bit more pronounced to other bodies that we have. Remember, this is all information based. Mental, and I'm only going to talk about 2 more, and astral. So we have the body surrounded by the etheric body, and this is sort of where you end as a being and as what influences the body. Then we have the mental, where they tell you all is mind, the universe is mind, because the mental encases both the etheric, and by the way, this is not my philosophy. This is like thousands of years of philosophy, okay, Eastern philosophy. And then you have the astral body, which is also, let's call it the subconscious. This is the astral body, is what exchanges information with, there's a lot, this structure here is very complex, but it doesn't matter for the purpose of this discussion. So consider here all the possibilities of everything, multiverse, whatever you want to think of it, right? Your subconscious, which is your astral layer, exchanges information about you and brings back towards you information from here. So what's happening with the body over here is you have a physical body. You need to project your consciousness around the etheric body, take care of the mental body, and then the astral body will give you input. So I don't know how to keep this sort of on the screen when I talk about it, but the idea is this. There's a lot of, the way we live now, there's a lot of violations that happen here in the etheric towards our physical body. So what happens here is we have intuition and we have emotions, mostly about how we should treat our body. But because they're working really hard in the mental realm to convince us that the body is just a piece of meat, and remember, the influence is from outside in, right? So what happens here, we learn to ignore this piece, which is actually what shapes our body. So we learn to deteriorate our etheric body. And we do this via not listening to instructions from the body, from the etheric body. So for example, what we eat. Your body will get back to you and tell you if what you ate was good for you. If you feel bloated, it's not good for you. If you feel gassy, it's not good for you. If you burp, it's not good for you, whatever you ate. So all these inputs about what you should do and what you shouldn't do, they're always available. We just ignore them. We also ignore the way people treat us, and we let them touch our body anyways. And I'm talking about relationships that are really not beneficial to us. When somebody touches your body, there's always an exchange here from etheric body to etheric body. If you're a woman, a lot of the information that they have will process through your etheric body, and because it goes from here to here, a lot of stuff they have mentally will project into their own etheric body and then into your body. So your body constantly, your etheric body is constantly processing and reprocessing information. Now, you may think you're sitting there and you're in your mental plane here, and then you're giving your body instructions. I am thin, I am 120 pounds, and this information should just go ahead and influence your body. But the problem is, from your mental state, you're getting right in here. And by the way, your 3 affirmations or your 300 affirmations are not enough to completely nullify the other mental instructions that you give to your body, such as this disease runs in my family. After 25, there's a stop in collagen production. Whatever instructions you pick up from collective consciousness that are residing in your mental body, that you're also giving as information on a day-to-day basis without you realizing. Right? So when you do this, or for example, I don't have enough money to eat right, and therefore I have to eat junk. This is all that happens on the mental level, and it's projected in here. So the problem when you can't lose weight, the problem when you can't heal, the problem when you can't shape your body the way you want, it comes from the fact that our etheric body in general is more or less under duress, let's call it. I don't want to say destroyed, because it can always be repaired, but it's under duress. So I want you to understand that the projection of our body, our physical body, is a combination of information that gives us instructions on what to do with our body. And this is how you have to understand the body. Are we on the same page here? I'm just going to take a sip of water, and just to make sure that I haven't lost whoever's on this live on this information, I'm going to turn the heat off a little bit. It's too hot in here. Now, there's another thing you really need to understand here. That's not just about the body, but about reality in general. Maybe I should have started with this. Reality. God, I can't believe this. This doesn't work anymore. Okay, let me see if I have another one. In any event, reality, the 3D reality that we experience right now, the physical reality. I have eye pencils, but no actual pencils, is projected from a different plane. Lip pencils. God, this is getting comical. It's getting to be a funny live instead of an educational life. Okay, finally I got a pen. Okay, reality, let's call it 3D. Okay, so 3D reality is a projection of, we talked about this before, so let's say this is you. It's a projection from a higher plane of a higher self, right? Now, 3D reality, which is the environment that we learn and grow in, is governed by a rule set, and it has constraints. This is by design, okay? And this rule sets determine what changes you can effectuate in 3D reality with your body. So for example, you cannot grow wings in this experience, in your consciousness having an experience in 3D reality. Why? Because that violates the rule set of this reality. So I heard a really kind of like, I don't want to call it a dumb video, but from this person saying, well, you know, if I'm, let's say, an Asian man or a black man, I cannot be a white woman, no matter how much I manifest. Well, yeah, but this doesn't mean you can't manifest anything. That means that is not within the rule set of this reality. So what happens with this projection from here to here, as it's having an experience, it's being given a choice to evolve their free will choices, to evolve the way they process information, the avatar, the way it processes information, and the way it sends back information to the higher self. Remember, the whole game of 3D is the evolution of consciousness. So to 3D, to the higher self, it doesn't really matter if you're skinny or fat in this reality. It actually doesn't even matter if you experience more pain than joy in this reality. Why? Because every experience is valuable to the increase of the evolution of consciousness. This is sort of the unfortunate part. But to make the game fair, we have free will on what we want to experience. So let's say we stay on the body. We want to experience a body that looks a certain way. And once you understand that, and the information, that the way you process information and send it back here becomes different, then what you will be returned as a projection will become different. Maybe I don't know if I'm going too esoteric right now, but people always ask me, how do you do this? How do you do this with the body? And, I wish I had a solution that's, you don't need to understand anything. You just need to burn this candle and say 1, 2, 3, and it will be done. But unless you understand what you're doing day to day with your free will choices and how you can work within the rule set of this reality, you won't be able to change anything. So let's say, let me give you an example that maybe simplifies this. Let's say you have a globe, okay, just like a glass globe with nothing in it, or a diamond, and there's light, like higher self, okay, that's you, your body. That's your higher self, is this ray of light that projects into this diamond, into this refractory object. When the light hits the object, that intersection is what you can achieve in 3D reality. So the light will generally rainbow out of a diamond, right? So you can be a color pink or whatever the colors of the rainbows are, red, blue, yellow, green. You can be any of those things. There's many possibilities, but you cannot be, I don't know, you cannot be a unicorn coming out of that, because that's not possible within the rule set of the light intersecting with this diamond. So everybody who kind of tells me, oh, yeah, I'm an Asian man and I could never be a white woman, that means nothing to me. It means like you completely don't understand what's going on here with manifestation. That's not what manifestation is. Manifestation is understanding that this whole reality is a projection from somewhere else. And in that projection, that your consciousness exists on multiple planes. And all of these planes are relevant to the evolution of our consciousness. But all of these planes have a different rule set. So this plane 3D has a rule set that's a lot denser, that's a lot more restrictive, and it has longer term consequences. There is another plane, let's call it in dreams, where your consciousness can be totally aware of who you are. Whoever had a dream where they were totally aware of who they are? They know, like I knew in my dream I was Mona and I was flying. I was flying in my dream, but it was me. It was like, I was even wondering, how is this possible? Who else experienced this? Please tell me I'm not the only one, okay? There's like 70 people on this live. Somebody else must have had this experience where they were flying in dreams. It's a very common dream. Yes. And so your consciousness in that plane, in that reality, is experiencing things based on a different rule set. So that rule set is a lot looser. But the learning in that rule set is not necessarily as deep as the learning you can have in 3D because of the long-term consequences, right? But every one of this reality has its own rule set. And so when you're in 3D, don't sort of negate what can be done in 3D because, oh, I'm an Asian man and I could not be a white woman. Okay, but in this plane here, your consciousness can experiencing being a white woman if that's what it wants to experience, and you manage to have a lucid dream. It just, you can't do it in here. But in here, you can do many things. You can be the weight that you want to be. You can have the body that you want to have. You can heal. You can instruct your energetic and etheric field to restore your body to its perfect form, the perfect human form. And you can do many things with your body. Yes, you cannot do things that you can do here in dreams. You cannot fly off a building, okay, like in the Matrix, but you can do a whole bunch of things. So don't use like a dumb argument like this to completely eradicate the possibility that you can use energy to shape what happens to you, what happens to your avatar. I want to be perfectly clear on this. Okay, so several people have experienced flying in dreams. I love flying in dreams too. I haven't had one in a long time, but sort of that solidifies this idea, and it should make it clear in your mind that your consciousness, and you are consciousness projected from somewhere else, at the intersection of what is possible in the rule set of our reality and your consciousness penetrating this reality, a lot of probabilities exist. And you have to work with energy work, intention, focus to collapse the probability that you most want. Somebody, Ryan says, I read Into the Magic Shop based on your recommendation. Amazing. Yeah, it was a great book. Guys, don't skip that book. Don't skip that book. And it's so deep. Like, the whole book is the story of this guy who understood the rules of the universe early because he was lucky enough to meet a woman who taught him this at a very young age. And he used them to get to impossible lengths based on who he was and based on his education, even based on his IQ. And he got to be a neurosurgeon. And then he realized, you know, everything came crashing down because the ego took over, sort of. But then he has a story where, using the same work, he recovered his whole life to an even better life just by understanding that it was a lot deeper than the acquisition of material things. Who was the man who did this? I don't remember the name of the author, but if you look Into the Magic Shop, the book, I think it might be his only book, the story of his life. Maybe Ryan can remind me of his name. So does the higher realm experiences where you're flying have any effect on the current reality? If you become lucid, it can, because you can direct it from there. But by the way, you don't have to have a lucid dream to do that. You can go into, there's many experiences that people have where they learn a higher truth, and that truth has profound repercussions and positive consequences in their day-to-day life. Like, you can have out-of-body experiences, astral projections, dreams, mystical experiences, all of these things. James Doty, yeah, correct. I don't do any of the out-of-body or astral because my dreams are so meaningful, and I dream every single night, and I learn to work with my dreams, and I really don't want to, like, I feel like it's enough for me. How can I go about releasing the resistance towards my body? The resistance towards your body has to do with you having violated your body's boundaries too many times. So now there isn't a positive relationship between you and your body. You violated your body too many times, and what you have to do is undo that slowly and incrementally based on your free will choices in this reality. What you eat, what you drink, how much you sleep, who touches you, all the violations of the body that you have done. Can you tell more about changing body in 3D? I've watched all of your videos and I'm still challenged. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about in this life. So remember, your main job, if you haven't had results, is you gotta protect your etheric body. This is the house of your emotions. This is what houses your intuition. You're here. This is the physical body. This is where, based on our life nowadays, we violate our body with our choices. Is that clear? Do you guys know what I mean by that? Do you guys make choices against your emotion and your intuition? Hey, even going to work and waking up at 6 a.m. is a violation of that boundary, that body boundary. Have you ever been with somebody who didn't treat you very well, but you didn't want to lose them, so you let them touch you? A man? Have you ever eaten something when you weren't hungry just to pacify your mind? Like, the little choices that we have with our body. Have you ever, I don't know, put on lashes when they hurt, and maybe lashes is not a good example, and you did that for validation in 3D world when your body's against it and you got an infection or a nail infection from fake nails? Have you ever done any of that stuff? Anybody, or just me? We've all done that, especially as women. We have all done that. But here's the thing. We know when we do it. We know when we do it, but somehow, we're convinced that this is how it should go. You should force your body through time to perform certain actions for certain outcomes. And that is kind of like completely against what we're talking about. What we're talking about, getting your higher self to bring you the best outcomes to you via a process that you don't decide on the how. You don't decide on which man. You don't decide on which job is going to get you there. You don't decide on any of these things. You just take inspired action. So what we keep talking about, and it's not easy to understand. Now, I want to make an important point in general when you're in the void, in the delay. So when you set to manifest, let's say we're talking about the body, but it doesn't matter. Anything you're trying to manifest, the image that we talk about, you have a clear image in your mind about your ideal day, about your ideal car, husband, schedule, children, and that's coming. It's all coming because you're insisting on this idea and you're persisting. Remember, between the point you are now and that point, you will be in the delay. It's also called the void, where many things can happen, which is the how. This is the how in between. Unfortunately, in the delay, it is very easy to get scared and project a different instruction. Now remember, fear is a very powerful instruction into the formless substance. So what do I mean by this? If you are here and you know you're going here, your jobs, and this is very different life, your job may not work out, may be in the way, you may be fired. So you're here in the delay. You're in the delay, or your relationship may break down, because that's not the man who can take you here and can have this life with you, even though you'd like him to be. So if you introduce fear right now, you're giving a different instruction than this now. Fear is an instruction. And generally the fear is like, oh my God, I don't know what I've done, but I've made things worse. You think getting fired from the job you didn't like anyway is made your life worse. You think the boyfriend that wasn't proposing for 5 years, you lost him, he cheated on you, and that's worse. You think, but here's the way it works. Every feeling is an instruction, and every free will decision on what you do and what you think is sort of contributes to the collapse of probabilities and outcomes based on specific experiences. An example of this is, if I want to be a famous actress, deciding in the void between the life I have now and being a famous actress, deciding to move to Hollywood will collapse the probability of me being a famous actress in a very different way for future choices and probabilities than if I stay where I'm at and I'm just waiting for that to come to me. You know what I mean? So every single decision you make here in the delay, in the void, whether it's body related, relationship related, career related, will influence the probabilities of all the other things that could happen. Right? So it's like, it's self-adjusting, but you're directing the adjustments without you even realizing. So it's very, very easy to get scared that you lost your job and make a decision in that moment that will nullify this image that you held in your mind for 6 months. Because that loss of the job, of the relationship, may be a critical step in getting you here, but you don't see the how now. So the moment you go back in here and you try to control the how, you try to fix things, or you sort of be like, I don't want to have this image anymore because look, things are getting worse and worse in my life. You're changing the trajectory of what is possible for you. Holistic housewife says, I've fixed everything in the physical realm for the last 2 years. Now what? So you mean you've got to where you wanted to be, sort of thing. You fixed everything. Now what? Yeah. So I told you guys this about goals, right? You got to sort of always have new goals and different goals that evolve you and your consciousness. Sure, I've got all the big things as well. You know, I wanted to meet a guy and exactly how I wanted, and I wanted him to marry me and have a great marriage. And says, now what? You know, like, now what? It's a conundrum, isn't it? So I find that my goals from the time I started this to now, they've changed a lot, like a lot. Like, I'm looking, for example, in relationships, I'm looking for a lot more meaning. I want to meet people who'd grow me. It's not just, oh, he loves me, he adores me. You know, from scripting that to scripting what I'm scripting now, it's a huge difference. Like, you should see an evolution in yourself, in your own self, based on the goals that you put out there. Okay, and for work, or before I had to be something specific. Now it's like, it's about contribution. It's about being recognized. It's about the impact that your work has. It's about being able to do what you want on a day-to-day basis. It's changed a lot. Oh, you meant something else. But anyways, what I said still stands. You've done everything in the physical realm, but your body hasn't shifted. Watch my body playlist and maybe this live if you missed the beginning. But basically, you got to understand that your body is at the intersection between the projecting of your higher self into this realm. And you got to see your real body as the etheric body, the scaffolding around your body. And you're working with the scaffolding to shape your body. You're not working with your body to shape your body. By the way, guys, a lot of changes can be effectuated from 3D. We all know that, right? If you don't eat anything and you go to the gym or you eat like, I don't know, 500 calories a day and you go to the gym, you will lose weight. But how permanent you can keep that, or how likely are you that you're going to be able to eat 600 calories forever? It's not likely. So I don't know about you, but for me, I want things to flow, to be easy. I don't know why we have this thing ingrained in our mind that it has to be really hard. It just has to be a lot easier than they're teaching us. Remember this about everything they tell you. When they tell you, you got to work so hard, you got to do this, you got to do this. Yeah, for sure, you got to take action in 3D world to make things happen. But it shouldn't feel hard on a day-to-day basis. Right? Let's say you want to speak in front of audiences. Yes, it's going to feel hard preparing for your first one, for your second one. It's going to feel nerve-wracking to get in front of people. But if it feels like that every single time you get on stage, and if it's just hard, it's not for you. It's just not aligned. If your relationship is hard on a day-to-day basis and you always think that you have to work on things, it's not for you. If your job feels so hard, losing weight is so hard, you're doing something wrong. You always have to be like, there has to be an easier way. I'm doing something wrong. I need to know where I'm stuck, where I'm blocked. Let's talk about, I wrote down some reasons here why you may feel stuck in, let's say you're healing, but it applies to weight loss or anything you want to do in the body. You may have a weak intention, or you may be completely disconnected from the formless substance. So you cannot effectuate these changes, again, by burning a candle, by writing out some things. The first thing you do when you start this work is you have to establish your connection that you naturally should have had with the formless substance, that the world is telling you is destroying for you every single day by keeping you in 3D. You do this by awareness, by meditation, and by non-reaction to 3D world. Okay? So as long as you react the same way as you did 3 months ago, you haven't grown. As long as you are just as asleep as you walking through the world, and you know when you're aware, when you're asleep. By the way, I want to tell you guys something very important. In this game that we call life, us, the individuated units of consciousness, every individual, we only have two positions possible. Okay, they're binary. It's either a 0 or a 1. So think of yourself as an avatar in this game, and your position is a 0 or a 1. 0 means you're not aware of the game. You're asleep. 1 means you're aware that you're in a game and you're consciousness and you're directing consciousness. So at every single point in your day, stop and ask yourself, am I submitting to reality or am I dominating reality based on my awareness? Am I aware of who I am or am I asleep in this game? Has reality managed to catch me in its snare and completely make me forget about my position in the game? Am I a 0 or a 1 right now? And throughout the day, I think I monitored myself once or twice, and I don't think I'm a 1 more than 10% of the time. I don't think you can, while living in the world. That's why the people who want to stay in position 1, they go and live in the Himalayas and they meditate 14 hours a day, because it can't be done in the world. It can't be. It's extremely difficult to keep your position of dominance over reality. I want you guys to think about this. Do this exercise. I make this exercise for this week for my group, but I don't want you guys to miss the new moon meditation. Monitor yourself. I don't think if anybody achieves more than 10%, let me know. I would be happy for you, but it's extremely difficult. This game is well designed. It's well designed for the growth of consciousness. It doesn't want consciousness to be like, oh, hang on a second. I don't actually have to go through all these trials. All right, where was I? Okay, weak intention and lack of connection, on which you must work on. If you want to be able to effectuate this kind of changes on an energetic level, you have to do energy work, meditation, focused intention, insisting on a certain coherent image that you should build in your mind. This is not going to take 5 minutes. Re-reviewing your goals. This is daily work. Now, it's not daily work all day, every day, but it is work on the mental plane. Where was I? Remember, the mental plane envelops your body and your etheric body. And because of that, what you do here to control this mental plane, if you don't control this, the subconscious, which is in the astral body, has no way to penetrate. So for example, people who go to sleep in thoughts about their boss, in anxiety thoughts, and their mental body is out of control, completely out of control. What happens is they get in touch with me and they say, but Mona, I don't have any dreams, or my dreams don't make any sense. Yeah, they can't make any sense because the subconscious is here. It's coming from the astral. And when it's projecting and it's hitting your mental state, it's not going to give you any inspired action, any intuition for your etheric body. Do you understand? It's not going to give you, you're not going to be able to interpret that in any pertinent way. Somebody else said to me, I can't, maybe I have to read a couple of these because I sent it to myself. Just give me a second, because there was a couple of questions on the body that I said I'm going to take up. Where is it? Okay. No, I didn't take that one. But basically she said, I have a problem with calming down, or something along those lines. And I told you guys many times, don't jump into meditations, because my work was, inspired by Dr. Joe Dispenza. A lot of people just bought Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations to start, and they didn't have much success because those meditations are not designed to calm your nervous system at all. So if you're in a state where you're anxious in general, where you have thoughts you can't control in general, your first step for a month or 2 or 3 or however long it takes you is only nervous system regulation. Nervous system regulation. Okay? And the nervous system regulation consists of 2 things. Guys, pay attention. I know a lot of people are struggling with anxiety and everything. First thing is restricting consumption of information. So first thing is under your complete control. You are not supposed to have as much information as you have right now about the world, about the daily events. You're not supposed to know what's happening everywhere in the world, what could go wrong every single time. You're not even supposed to know what's happening at all levels within the company that you work at, or every single thought that your spouse has. You're not supposed to have this much information about celebrities, about who cares. Who cares? You're not supposed to. Now you might think, oh, this is entertaining for me. Yeah, but that entertainment is occupying mental processing time. So, number one is control the amount of information you consume. Number two is you gotta regulate the nervous system via meditations that have nothing to do with achieving anything. I recommended before, I don't do them because there's no need. There's so many good ones out there. But I recommend The Honest Guys. It's a channel that has really, really helped me, especially like years ago when I was super stressed in corporate. And they're like fantasy meditations. They have like great audio, sound, great beats, 432 hertz, 528 hertz, and the voice is very soothing. So that's all you should be doing. I know people come to this work and what they want is like the magic meditation that heals their liver, the magic meditation that's going to bring their spouse, but they have no chance of imprinting that in the subconscious as long as their nervous system is not regulated, as long as the nervous system is in a fight or flight mode. So if you're not patient with yourself, if you don't see this work as a long-term lifestyle, this is the wrong life for you. By the way, you might be able to manifest small things, specific things with different kind of work, which I don't teach and I don't recommend, but you're not going to be able to retain it. That's for everybody who's manifested their SP and then he left 5 times over, or manifested $10,000 and were never able to do it again. Meg does the gateway tapes. Yeah, the point is this: find something that works for you, that in the meditation you're not trying to achieve anything. So that's step number one. After you've done that for a while and you got your nervous system under control, you need step number two is you need to observe your thoughts and interact with your thoughts. The way you interact with your thoughts is you kind of ask your thoughts, why are you here? What are you trying to tell me about something that's in my paradigm that maybe I haven't discovered, or that maybe I need to heal, I need to delete, I need to overcome? What is it that you're telling me right now? So you need to observe your thoughts from an observer perspective. You're not the person who's thinking the thoughts, you're the observer of those thoughts. But you need to observe them and understand why you have them, and work on repairing why you have that. So for example, a thought of pain of rejection or anxiety of rejection is rooted in a certain experience. And you have to understand that the experience has to do with a point where you were at a certain point in your life. And it's not necessarily a pattern for you to have for the rest of your life. You're not going to be rejected forever if you're no longer the girl that gets rejected, if you can drop that identity. So that's number 2 step in the meditation and observing your thoughts kind of work. And then the 3rd step will be doing meditations to project out there the intentions that you want and the life that you have convinced yourself that you're worthy of. Does that make sense? Somebody said something that they're shocked about what I said about dreams. Which part was shocking? I love to explore dreams. It's part of, if I work with somebody individually, their dreams become really relevant after, we talk for a while. I'm interested in what they dream about. But, it takes a while to dream coherently, because it has to do with what you put, what you consume. What do you think about robotic emotionless affirmations? I've tried it, didn't work for me. I mean, I couldn't do it. I've tried it twice, gave me a horrible headache. This was a few years ago. And it didn't work for me. And at some point, somebody booked a call with me to tell me that they've been doing it for 17 months and she had no results. And when I asked her, how long do you do it for? She said 4 to 5 hours a day. And I was like, I would not waste my life 4 to 5 hours of every day to robotically affirm, have no results after 18 months. See, the problem is everybody's looking for a quick, easy solution. Everybody's looking for You know, what can I do to bring things fast? Nobody's actually interested in what this game is designed to do, which is evolving consciousness via awareness and understanding. And look, changes that align with personal growth, learning, evolution are more likely to succeed and to be retained long term. And the higher self will nudge you via dreams, intuition, synchronicities, but you have to stop and understand how that relates to you. Now, I don't know of any more interesting work than this. You know, I love getting to know myself and all these layers that I have. I love deciding that I'm going to be better every day. I love that that's a decision I can make. That's a free will choice I can make. I love when I feel a reaction and I'm able to dominate that reaction, like a negative reaction, and I'm able to dominate it and keep it in check. I love all those things, you know, because how can you expect to control reality when you can't control your own reactions to events? You know what I mean? You want to be like, I'm the creator, I'm the designer, but you can't even stop yourself from getting angry or reacting angry. Like it's kind of, do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of comical to expect that. Let's see. Oh, I have a lot of questions here. If your dreams don't make sense, don't eat 5 hours before sleep. And then do this for like at least a week before you report back. Don't eat, guys. Don't drink alcohol, don't eat. If you take pills, talk to your doctor about maybe taking them in the morning versus in the evening. How do you get over waiting? I think the way you get over waiting is you have to understand you're at the best point you could. If you've done everything, you gotta assess, am I doing everything right? If I'm not doing something right, I'd be like, I know I can affect this waiting, I can make it shorter. But if I'm doing everything right, I'm reminded that that's all I need to do. And it's not me walking through time to get to a certain goal. Like I'm not waiting for time to pass to get to a certain goal. It is just that I need to increase my light for this goal to come to me. For this, like I need to increase the how clear I am, but that has to do with a lot of things, right? With the awareness, with the knowing self, with the healing of trauma, I need to do better on myself. And so this waiting is not waiting if you're perfecting yourself. And I promise you, Queen, if you perfect yourself, you might not get the immediate goal tomorrow, but what's going to happen is you will get so many things, like your life will get so much better that you'll be like, hang on a second, I'm not living my life waiting to be here. Actually, I can effectuate significant differences in my life. And I love working with me to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like every day should not be now just I'm in stagnation waiting for my goal. I feel there's some deep trauma in my lower back. What to do about it? I don't think we have enough time to talk about that. But a lot of times when we talked about healing is, hold on, I made some notes here specifically about healing and I started to talk about it, but then I started talking about something else. So a lot of it has to do with unprocessed emotional trauma and in the specific chakra system. I've done a video on chakras that's on my YouTube. Is there anything you do that helps you analyze or understand your dreams and what it's teaching you? Yeah, I log them and I think about them for quite a bit if they're significant. Like I think, what could this mean based on what I have been journaling, based on the questions that I asked the universe? What could this mean from that perspective? What is the symbolic meaning of X and Y? I don't look it up on Google. Hey, what is the meaning of a deer? That's not, because the meaning is what the meaning is to you. Maybe when you dream of a deer is that time when you were, I don't know, if your dad was a hunter and, you know, you were actually in the woods with him, but maybe you've never seen a deer in your whole life. So the meaning of a deer is very different depending who's dreaming it. Cortisol regulation supplements, okay. Daily practice means overnight success. I like that. That's a nice mantra. There is no way you will do the daily practice and not see success somehow. There's no way. I promise you that. Let's see. Greetings from Costa Rica. I spent all last January in Costa Rica. I loved it. Oh my God. It must be like 28 degrees there, Celsius. What's your method of manifestation if not robotic affirmations? Go through my content and you'll find out. Is it okay to see 3D and think about what I want instead? Or is it better to just observe 3D? I discussed that in my previous live about how you need to live almost 2 different lives. The life that you constructed yourself in your head, and the understanding that everything you see around you is just temporary. And by the way, that's if the life you want to have is significantly different than what you have. So I don't do that right now. I've done that, and I've done a video on it this week about tips from my own life, how I did it. But now all of those things came to pass. So now I work very differently with how I see reality. Like, I'm much more interested in understanding the lessons that I must learn and how I can do better with myself than gaining physical things around me. I wish these lives were saved somewhere. They are all on my YouTube channel. That's all I have there now. Okay. So I want to just wrap up with the healing. We were talking about healing. So we talk about one thing that could prevent you from resetting your etheric body, the scaffolding to perfection, is weak intention and lack of connection. So we talked about this. Also, your beliefs. Okay. For example, obesity runs in my family. Everybody in my family gets diabetes. This is an instruction to your body. If you define yourself in terms of your family history, in terms of your ethnic group history, or what is possible in terms of if you define yourself based on your past, maybe, okay, in the past I did this and this is what happened to me and that will happen in the future. These are all beliefs. Remember, free will is in changing your beliefs. It's not easy to change your beliefs. Don't let anybody tell you that it's easy. Because for 5 minutes, yeah, I can believe something else. But for the rest of the day, you go back to default unless you stay in position 1. Remember, the aware or asleep. And nobody can stay in position 1 for the majority of the time. So it's very important you change your beliefs. Can you shortly explain your method of manifestation? No, I cannot do it shortly. That's why people have been with me watching this for like 2 years. I cannot do it shortly. But I can tell you that I got everything that I wrote down for, and more is coming, because now I'm writing down different things. But I won't talk about them until they come to pass. I can tell you that it's daily work. But it's work you should enjoy, and I get to enjoy. Fear, okay? Fear is that when you introduce fear in the delay, I told you fear is an instruction. It's a very powerful instruction. There's actually every emotion that we have is a derivative. I read this in a psychology book and it's so true. Is a derivative of only 2 emotions, love and fear. So every single emotion you have is either a derivative of love and fear. And I need you to sit down with yourself. And every time you have a strong emotion, ask, is this coming from love or from fear? And the moment you can make the majority of your emotions come from love, everything will be added onto you, right? This is why, the esoteric teachings of religious texts is seek the kingdom of God, which is love, and then everything will be added to you. The problem is someone needs to monitor this. You need to monitor yourself. Everybody's at a different level. We're not at the same levels, guys. We're not spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and the ability to control ourselves is not at the same level. The world teaches you the opposite of what is good for you. The world does not teach you how to have control over yourself. Okay? And it's actually falsely teaching you that you can have control over what happens in the world. So you get implicated in politics, you get implicated in media. The control starts with self. I heard fear is the opposite of love, not hate. Yeah, the hate is not the opposite of love. Actually, the right opposite of love is indifference. But the majority of our feelings come from two primary emotions, love and fear. Attachment to current circumstances is another way why you won't effectuate changes in the body. So that means weighing yourself every single day, checking your disease, your blood pressure every single day, checking, right? So checking locks, when you observe something, it locks reality into place. If you guys have not seen the double slit experiment, this is an experiment that was performed and re-performed many times, but performed about 100 years ago. It's about how light can be either a particle or a wave based on the observation. Every time you observe your 200 pounds, you're locking that reality into place. Now you have to swim against that reality. I would say do not weigh yourself, get rid of your scale. If you're disciplined, you can have a scale, but weigh yourself at the most once a month. Lack of growth is another reason why you're stuck in a certain disease, in a certain weight, in a pattern of the body that is not ideal for you. So lack of growth means you're not actually learning what you must do or mustn't do. That thing with the etheric body that we discussed, the violations of it, if you keep violating your body, it means you're not learning the lesson. That man who doesn't love you, but you do everything for him, and he touches you and unloads on you, it's a lack of growth. You're not understanding what is good for you and what isn't good for you. It could just be that. It could just be that. External influences, of course, are very probable that's affecting you. So external influences would be a doctor giving you a diagnosis, or the fact that the collective consciousness thinks that people your age, your ethnic group, it's harder for you to lose weight. There's something. So there's an external authority that tells you how things should be. Do you have to do forgiveness for hurting the etheric body? Of course. Forgiveness is the number one key element taught in every religious and spiritual philosophies. And forgiveness towards self and others, you do these things for yourself. You don't do it for others. I don't believe you have to call anybody and say, I forgive you or forgive me. It's just something that can only happen, that can happen just on the inside. Of course, you can call, but you don't have to. Guilt and shame are your biggest emotions that keep you stuck in the current reality. Because you feel like you deserve that, right? You deserve somehow to be fat and sick. And it somehow depends on what happened to you. Depends why you may think that. Hold on a second. I'm going to stay a few more minutes because I have a couple more questions. I generally end in an hour. Okay, misuse of free will. Okay, if you misuse your free will, you have free will to choose. Again, it goes back to the etheric body, choosing what you say, what you believe, what you eat, who touches you. These are all choices. If you misuse these choices, you will get results that are undesirable. And then unrealistic expectations, of course. Unrealistic expectations have to do with expecting that you're going to lose 20 pounds in 1 week, expecting that you're going to be healed overnight, expecting that you don't need to change anything about yourself, just do your robotic affirmations and things will happen. It's kind of unrealistic expectations. What do you think about others, like the bad friends, people that you meet in life? I think they're incredibly necessary in the evolution of your consciousness. So your ability to assess your environment via your sensory input and process that sensory input in your etheric body, which is your emotional body, and be like, this has felt bad for me. Making a free will choice based on that emotion is very important for you to learn how to do that, right? You have to learn from choices. That's how the system evolves. So if you only had people who coddle you, if you only had people who loved you, you wouldn't really learn anything. You need both love and pain are necessary to evolve your consciousness. Now, how long you stay in the pain and how fast you learn that lesson, that's up to you. That's up to your consciousness, free will choice. I wish I had this wisdom and my 23-year-old body. Yes, Mina, first of all, you're very beautiful. And second of all, the best part of life is towards the end anyways, right? Like it's towards once you accumulated this wisdom. It's once you know what they say, youth is wasted on the young. It's so true. It's so true. I'm a mother, and for everybody else who's a mother, you so wish that once you gain this wisdom, you can just transfer it into their mind. So their young body can go through life so much easier and so much, but it's not how we're designed. They're with your biggest efforts, the most you can transfer is 10 to 20% of what you've learned. The rest they have to learn on their own, and it's so painful to watch. It's so painful to watch, Reality is a feedback. It's a feedback. Remember, reality, feedback, and you need to learn to make adjustments if you want something else. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What else? We all have our own lessons to learn. Yeah. But you don't have to learn them the hard way every single time. You can just say, oh, wait, this was the lesson. I need to detach myself from it. I'm going to suffer for a little bit. But I'm not, it is suffering. Not eating what you want when you feel like it, what tastes good, is suffering. Not being with that guy that you lust for because he's not good for you is suffering. How to get rid of loose skin with a knife. It depends where it is. $10,000, $15,000, they do it for you. It's not relevant. The loose skin is not relevant. If your problem has an easy 3D solution, you will not be given an energetic solution. This one, just see yourself with your skin tucked in place and it will be somehow. You'll get the money to it. Don't look for complex robotic affirmations. Use the knife. All right. Not you, okay? The doctor, okay? I don't want to be liable for something. My jokes here. Basically, understand the body as a projection, the avatar governed by a rule set. Okay, I want to see like the two little questions that I had. Align the intention with growth-oriented goals. Trust the process, quiet the mind, and trust the process in the how. That's the summary. But obviously, it has to be discussed and unfolded. Guys, we have the new moon meditation. Remember my group, Wednesday at 10 p.m. And then, what else did I want to say? I lost my train of thought. Somebody asked me, what about specific measurements of body parts? And I want to tell this person that I have done that with both my waist and my thighs. I set to be a specific measurement in that area. And I want to tell you something about measurement. And somebody else asked me, can I make my boobs grow? And that's also, I guess, in a way, as a measurement. Whatever changes that abide by the rule set of this reality can be done easily and fast with energy work. Fast, realistic. It can't be the next day, but it can be done in a very reasonable amount of time. So for example, collective consciousness and the rule set of this reality does not allow that adults can just grow body parts. I can't grow an extra finger. I can't grow an extra boob or more mass in my boob. That's not the reality set. But the measurement of my thigh, the reality set, tells me that I definitely can lose the weight in specific areas of my body because many people do it. So if it has to do with weight loss, we know any weight loss can be achieved. So that's easy. If it violates the reality set, like make your boobs grow, make your loose skin be tight again, there are solutions to this kind of stuff in 3D reality. So the solution has already been given to you. Dr. Joe Dispenza said somebody grew a new thyroid, but it wasn't an extra thyroid. It was the replacement of, I heard about that too. It was the replacement of so remember, because we're energy, the energetic signature of a healthy thyroid is there. So the fact that their thyroid shrank and wasn't working properly, it is easy to change the energetic signature to its perfect form and then have the tissue form around that. It's not the same thing with growing an extra finger or growing boobs. Do you understand? Because the energetic signature of how many fingers you have or the size of your boobs is already there, and it's already fulfilled based on your natural development. It's not like the thyroid that got sick and wasn't working properly and can't be restored. Like, there isn't a boob size that it should be that is correct the way it is with the thyroid. A thyroid has a certain energetic shape that is correct, but the breast has all sorts of energetic shapes. They're all correct. That's the difference. Why does robotic affirming work for some and not for others? Because it can penetrate the subconscious of all people. And I'm going to argue that even if it penetrates the subconscious of some people, it's not necessarily going to last, and they're not necessarily going to be able to hold their manifestation if significant changes were made in their paradigm. I want to manifest marriage with my SP. He's now my boyfriend and very loyal to me. Okay, how long have you been together? I'm taking this just for fun, and I'm going to end the live right after that. The boyfriend that you're trying to manifest, how long have you been together with him? How long should you be together with a man before you know that the relationship is going a certain way? We're going to make this a lesson for everybody. That's what I like this lives to be. How long? You're loyal with a man you're dating and you're not 17, okay? You're like 24 and over. How long should you be with him? 1 year. 1 year. It doesn't matter if you're 25 or you're 45 or you're 65. It's 1 year. 1 year. See, in the pattern of 4 years, the reality that you have locked into place and the amounts of time you have violated your etheric body is a lot for you to manifest something that wasn't a natural consequence of the energy system you've developed for your relationship. No man who loves a woman, I hate telling, like, I don't never want to tell women off, ever. I love women, but I have to make it sort of like a teaching moment. After 1 year, you have to know where it's going. There has to be marriage hints along the way. There has to be. You also have to be very honest about that's the life that you want. Now, it may happen that at that intersection of you and him, after a year, it'd be like, no, I don't see this in our near future. You have to make the hard decisions. Because a woman who wants marriage but operates with a guy within the context of no marriage and no impeding proposal is violating her boundary. So, Queen, the best advice I can give you after 4 years, you have to have a conversation with him and tell him he's in and out. He's in or he's out. One of the two. Can I manifest it? Yeah, I'm telling you how to do it. Go up to him and you say, listen, I'm X age. I would like to have a baby. It's important for me to be married. See, part of this work is like, if you're not honest with yourself, you can't expect the universe to give you what you want. You know, you just can't, because you're not even able to open your mouth and say what you want to the person that you want to share your life with. And this you should have done 2 years ago, right? But right now, you're going to go up to him and say this. And any response he gives you before you have this conversation, you gotta go back in yourself and say, any response I get is okay, because I will be married in a year from now. Watch my SP playlist. See how I've done the same thing, not after 4 years, knock on wood. And take it from there. But you got to be okay with any response is okay. God bless you. Hopefully you'll come back next week and tell me that he proposed because he doesn't want to leave you. rewatch my playlist. I have a detailed video there. It's like 6 minutes long about the story, that how I thought about it. And guys, it's him or better. Him or better. That's how I got to think about it. All right, I have to let you guys go. Let's put our hands together for 369, and I will meet my queens from my group in the meditation on Wednesday night. Otherwise, I'll meet the rest of you next Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.